Well, hi again. Round 4, I believe. Just for fun, I changed shirts, although I'm doing 2, 3, and 4 all at once, because it is a borrowed camera, and I don't want to have to worry about the fact that the friend who lent it to me doesn't like smoking. So I'm trying to get as much in as possible, real quick. Okay, traditional proof I'm still me. Now, let's talk this time about the famous
429,216 deaths were caused by smoking this year
number. That number, all right, I probably can't use the technical term. It has to do with the excrement of bull elephants, however. It's a phony number. Now, I'm going to try to talk a little bit about some of the more technical reasons why it is, although I'm doing all this extemporaneously because I don't want to script and then read, because enough people accuse me of sounding like a professor anyway, and when I script and read, I sound annoyingly like a professor even to me. I am not a professor. I'm an old network boy. Okay. Here's the simple test about the 400,000 plus number. You ever seen a death certificate? Does it say the decedent was a smoker? No, it doesn't. So how can that 400,000 plus number possibly be a hard number, be a real number? They're not counting it up. They're arriving at it in a statistical and skullduggerous fashion, and it comes from a computer program called SAMEC, for statistically attributable mortality and morbidity economic costs, I believe. I could sneak a peek at the monitor in the background to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because I've got the monitor up to remind me of a couple of really interesting things that a mathematician who used to work for NIH, as I recall, after she retired, she kind of took an interest in all this stuff. And she's done some really good work on pointing out the flaws in it. And again, I think I'll put an after label on with the plinkables for her neat papers. Fear not, there hasn't been a transporter beam malfunction. One of the problems I discovered with doing this extemporaneous stuff is that you can think you were making sense as you were going along, and when you play it back, you didn't. So I'm sticking this in, I hope, to do a, I think, better job of the summary of Rosalind Marymount was her name's points, and I'm going to emphasize again, please do, if you're interested at all, or if you're intellectually honest about it, look at the plinkables. But first of all, she points out that, strictly speaking, these aren't deaths caused by smoking. If you look at the documents, it's deaths associated with smoking. That's an important distinction, but we won't dwell too hard on it, despite the fact I am a semantic Puritan. But not caused, that's the headline version. The actual words are associated with. And the association isn't really very good either, because in the first place, they're doing subtle multiple counting tricks. Even worse, they're using what they call statistically attributable fractions or factors, I think fractions, which is to say, there's circular reasoning in play. They just take all the causes of death, which are on death certificates, not that they're necessarily even going from death certificates, they're gathering the data who knows from where, but they're saying, okay, we've decided based on this sample population, which she points out was a stacked and biased population anyway, that X% have to have been caused by smoking, which is circular reasoning and cheating and stupid. but, you know, about what you expect from them. And then, best of all, she observed in the afterthought or follow-up, she noticed that if you look at the numbers, the smokers on average died 2 years later than the non-smokers in the numbers they were allegedly crunching. And better than that, 17% of them, 70,000, died at the premature age of 85 or later. So it really is. So the point is, they're really riding their hobby horse, but they're doing it very, very intellectually dishonestly. And another factor that should be considered is that, oh dear, am I really at 5 minutes already? That's amazing. Okay, golly, I'm sorry. I hope that timer's wrong. I'm going to keep going. Because I also want to mention that what the figures don't take into account is smoking, for example, is a known offsetter of obesity, or stop smoking and get obese as well. So it's a two-edged sword, and I'm tremendously amused that the latest bandwagon is now anti-obesity. Oh, there's so much more obesity. Well, yeah, you're conning people into not smoking, so naturally they're getting fat, but you don't care, do you? Okay, this wasn't quite as nifty as I thought, but it's also running longer than I'd imagined, so I better do the cheers.